The second episode of The Bad Batch is a smaller adventure compared to the bombastic debut, but it offers more time to explore some interesting character dynamics a little further. Here's where The Bad Batch Episode 2 leaves the squad and how a big decision changes 2 of its members. Airing on Disney Plus just a few days after the 71-minute-long premiere of Star Wars: The Bad Batch, the series' second regular-sized episode follows the titular team as they meet up with an old friend, Clone Trooper Cut Lawquane. It's briefly explained for newer audiences that Cut deserted the Republic Army after droids executed his squad, as explained in the Clone Wars episode The Deserter. He realized that he could live a peaceful, uneventful life away from the war, and so Cut wound up on the Outer Rim Territories planet of Seleucami to do just that. Since Cut has experience in laying low from the authorities, it makes sense that the Bad Batch gang asks him for help, but when they find him, they're faced with a much more personal challenge. Cut Lawquane's life on the farm is meaningful for the clones. It proves that life doesn't have to revolve around fighting for a cause. Cut's main priorities now lie in farming the land with his wife, the Twi'lek named Sue Lawquane, and providing a happy life for her and her children, Shea and Jek, whom Cut adopted. He's a genuinely kind person who's clearly willing to help those who need it, which is why Cut offers to take Omega in and look after her as his own after she escaped Kamino and joined the Bad Batch at the end of Episode 1. However, with the Empire's rise to power and the tighter policing of Seleucami, Cut wants to leave with Sue and the children to build a new home elsewhere. It's hardly surprising since Cut is still technically on the run from the authorities, even though he's settled down with his family. A small moment during an escape later on in the episode perfectly demonstrates why he needs to get away, as another clone trooper starts to recognize Cut as a clone. The sheer look of horror on Cut's face at the idea of losing his family is a reminder that while the Clone Wars and the Bad Batch are animated shows aimed at children, they also deal with some surprisingly adult themes. Some of the biggest problems in the second episode of The Bad Batch are the new rules and restrictions that the Empire is placing across the galaxy. Most importantly, the Empire is creating chain codes that can be used to identify and track anyone living under the new regime. By creating these codes, the Empire has made it more difficult to move around the galaxy for those without official documents. Effectively, this is a way to crack down on people moving between planets as a way of cutting all chances of a rebellion or a coup against Emperor Palpatine. The logic is that if people stay where they won't have the strength and numbers needed to overthrow the Empire. Unfortunately for the baddies, things backfired. Oppressed citizens rebelled almost immediately, as seen in the series' first episode when Saw Gerrera's forces amassed on the jungle planet of Onderon. Episode 2 sees the team scrambling to get Cut Lawquane's family their own set of chain codes, including one for Omega so that she can live a normal life as a child. It's the first example we've seen of the squad working directly to help the citizens of the galaxy in a way that's similar to other shows like Star Wars Rebels. It's likely that they'll keep helping those in need as the series progresses, even possibly joining the Rebel Alliance if they survive that long. Hunter has had an interesting dilemma since Omega joined the team at the end of the first episode of The Bad Batch. He's slowly shifting into a father figure role, but he can't understand why Omega acts so recklessly, even putting herself in danger when a Nexu beast attacks. Hunter is used to the military lifestyle where orders are followed to the letter, but Cut and Sue are more understanding.
Children will always find ways of getting into trouble, Hunter. It's what they do.
It's one of the reasons Hunter decides to let Cut take Omega with him and his family when they leave Seleucami. It's understandable why he makes that decision. The Bad Batch members are living a dangerous life on the run from the Empire, which isn't exactly a kid-friendly situation to be in. But by doing this, Hunter completely took Omega's agency from her, cutting off an opportunity for her to grow up in an environment where she'll learn how to properly fend for herself. Sure, her life with Cut's family would comparatively be more comfortable and safe, but in a time where clones have become much more hostile to normal citizens, who's to say that the Lawquanes will always be safe? Thankfully, Hunter's decision didn't stop Omega from making one of her own, reclaiming her authority. When Omega first meets the Lawquane family, she's immediately excited to be around kids her own age. She's allowed to play for the first time ever, since her time on Kamino was mainly focused on working as an apprentice in the cloning facility. However, while she enjoys playing with Shea and Jek, Omega keeps coming back to the Bad Batch because they're more familiar and safe to her. Even when Omega reluctantly agrees to go with the Lawquanes when they leave Seleucami, it's obvious she doesn't actually want to be apart from Hunter and the other clones. They've formed a unique bond. When Omega was on Kamino, Amino, she had no one around that was like her, much like the Bad Batch weren't like the rest of the clone army, so she recognized herself in them. Thankfully, by the end of the Bad Batch episode 2, Omega chooses which family she'd rather be in. She leaves the Lawquanes as they escape Seleucami, and she returns to the Bad Batch. This is a significant move, since it's completely her own decision, despite Hunter originally pushing Omega in the other direction, toward what he believed was better and safer for her. During the final moments of the episode, Hunter and Omega both accept that they have a lot to learn from their unique dynamic, and more importantly, that the young clone truly belongs with the Bad Batch on whatever adventure comes next. Check out one of our newest videos right here. Plus, even more Looper videos about the Bad Batch are coming soon. Subscribe to our YouTube channel and hit the bell so you don't miss a single one.